CHCH News has learned that the RCMP will begin to interview Ford government officials about the Greenbelt land swap this week. This comes as Freedom of Information documents show provincial staffers were directly involved in the process, according to one environmental group. Jason Guidolo brings us the very latest on this tonight. Good evening, Jason.
Yeah, hey, Taz. And on top of it all, the NDP say at least 18 ministerial zoning orders were doled out for developers who attended the Premier's daughter's wedding as well. The Environmental Defense Group say that they hope this information that is newly released will be used in an RCMP investigation, an investigation that is tied to lands in our area. According to internal provincial documents requested by Advocates Environmental Defense, Hamilton, Halton, and Niagara were at the center of urban boundary plans under the direction of the Ford government. The environmental group says thousands of hectares were under forced expansion last year. Through their Freedom of Information request, one email sent to a finance staffer from developer Urban Solutions says back in September of 2021, Premier Doug Ford, then Mayor Fred Eisenberger, MPP Donna Skelly, Mr. Joseph Mancinelli, and Mr. Sergio Mancia and yourself met and discussed the justification for the addition of the lands to the Fruitland-Winona secondary plan, citing the error in the mapping of the subject lands when the Greenbelt was initiated. The parties agreed to pursue the request as it was in keeping with the province's objectives of aiding municipalities in providing much-needed housing.
That they take this information into consideration as they investigate whether or not criminal activity by public office holders actually has occurred here.
Executive Director with Environmental Defense Tim Gray is referring to the RCMP, which is probing the Ford government's Greenbelt scandal, a plan that the defense group says wasn't dictated by civil servant experts.
We also see Ryan Amato specifically saying to Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing staff that the Premier's office wants a map of where particular developers' lands are going to be added.
Gray is referring to an email sent from Ryan Amato, former Chief of Staff to former Housing Minister Stephen Clark. Both Clark and Amato resigned this past summer, and Premier Doug Ford reversed housing plans and apologized.
Where Ryan Amato clearly states that he has to run the changes by the Premier's office to make sure that the Premier got the changes that he wanted. And again, that to me speaks very clearly to the fact that the Premier was much more involved than he has said.
Meanwhile, Ontario's New Democrats say the province has given out 18 ministers' zoning orders for developer projects to guests who attended a wedding of Premier Doug Ford's daughter last summer. Current Housing Minister Paul Calandra responded at Queen's Park today.
I've said this the entire time I've been there. If it can get shovels in the ground quickly, I think there's a better process
of doing it. What if they were given out to buddies?
Look, I think there's a better process of doing it, making it more open so people can see exactly why the request is being made and how it's being made.
Now, earlier, Calandra said that some municipalities were asking for those rezoning orders to be pushed through. Calandra also reiterated that if developers aren't constructing new homes, then they could actually possibly repeal those rezoning orders.